Last year, I saved over 79% of my take-home pay, which means I should be on track to retire in less than 6 years. And I did that with just a 9 to 5 job. No side hustle, no house hacking, and not even ad revenue from YouTube. The only reason that my savings rate is so high is because I am extremely frugal. So in this video, I wanted to walk you through a complete day in the life so you can see what it really takes to retire before turning 30. My day usually starts at 6:30 a.m. I don't have a long morning routine. I just brush my teeth, check the weather, and get ready for my bike ride to the office. I keep rain gear and some warm clothes in my backpack in case I ever run into bad weather, but the weather in Northern Virginia is usually pretty nice. It can be chilly in the mornings though, so today I'll wear this. I could buy lunch at the office cafe, but the food is way overpriced. I always do meal prep over the weekend, which means I can easily grab food out of my fridge and throw it in my lunch bag. Packing my own lunch saves me about $2,000 per year. After I tie my shoes, we're ready to commute. But first, I have to grab my bicycle. It's not a very nice bicycle, but I've had it since I was a kid. It still works, and that's really all I care about. Some people love biking, but I'm not one of them. But I do love saving money. Riding a bike saves me about $8,000 per year compared to the average American. And given all of the Teslas, Corvettes, and even Lamborghinis I've seen in this area, I know I'm saving a lot more than $8,000 compared to some people. Personally, I would much rather save my money for financial freedom. And hey, it's also good for the planet and keeps me healthy, which is cool too, I guess. And I only have to bike about 2 miles, which takes me about 15 minutes. In this area, I know a lot of my coworkers have a 45-minute commute, or even longer. A benefit of waking up early is there usually isn't much traffic on my way to the office. I avoid the busy roads anyway, so this isn't a big issue. While I bike to work, I pass a ton of huge houses. The average home price in this county is over $1 million, but all of these big houses that I pass are worth even more than that. This neighborhood used to be made up of small ranch-style homes, like these. Even these houses go for $650,000 to $800,000 now. But there's been a lot of building around here as people tear down the small houses to build mansions. The new homes are so much bigger than the old ones. The average income for this area is about $94,000 per year, so I guess people can afford it. Most of the people that live in these homes probably make a lot more than that. Even so, I just don't see the appeal of owning a house as big as this. Even if these houses weren't millions and millions of dollars, I don't think I'd live in a house as big as these unless I was the star of 19 Kids and Counting. And even though these people probably make a lot of money, I know most of them still have to go to work every day to afford their mortgage. I'd much rather be financially free than own a big house. But we've arrived at my office now, and they have a handy bike cage where I can lock up my bike for the day. So it's time to get into work. My office has a gym and a locker room, which is really nice for me. So after I've switched from my bike clothes to my office clothes, we're ready to get started with the day. It's usually about 7:30 a.m. when I get settled into my office. I'm a data analyst for a defense contractor, so I can't say a lot about what I do. The day-to-day varies, but recently it's actually been reading a lot of research papers and writing a big report. After about 3 hours of reading and writing, I take a 20-minute break to eat. I try to keep an intermittent fasting schedule, so I only eat twice per day, once around 10 a.m. and once around 5 p.m. This isn't a crazy savings hack, it just fits way better with my schedule, but I do eat super cheaply. I usually keep my meals under $3, which saves me about $4,500 per year compared to the average American. I'll take you grocery shopping with me later so you can see how I do it. Sometime around noon, I'll usually go grab a free coffee from my company's coffee shop. Anything fancier than a basic coffee costs a silly amount of money, so I don't know why anyone does that. And don't get me started on why hundreds, maybe even thousands of my coworkers pay for the overpriced cafeteria lunch. I don't know why they waste so much of their money on this. I usually have a meeting or two in the early afternoon, which helps keep me awake. Unlike a lot of my friends in the tech industry, it's rare I have to work more than 40 hours per week. The day goes pretty quickly, and I'm done for the day around 4 p.m. There are definitely companies that would pay more, so if I got another job, I could maybe reach financial freedom even faster than I am. But not every job has the same work-life balance that my job does, which is why I have time to make these YouTube videos for you. So I hope you're getting some value from them. And if you are, there are some buttons that you could press. After I'm done with work, I change back into my biking clothes and bike home. trying to beat the 5 o'clock rush. Even so, the roads can be busy. I just don't know why so many people drive these huge, expensive automobiles. It just seems really wasteful, not to mention kind of dangerous. I live in Northern Virginia, which has a pretty good public transit system. I use it occasionally, and it's really convenient. I live in a pretty nice neighborhood, so I park my bike in the backyard. I don't have a super strong lock on it, but I'm not worried about it getting stolen. It's really not worth stealing anyway. I live in a townhouse here with 3 roommates, so I can save money on rent. Housing around here is crazy expensive. Average rent is almost $3,000 a month, which I think is ridiculous. I don't mind sharing a kitchen with a few other people, and it keeps my rent and utilities around $1,000 a month. I still think that's a lot, but it comes with the area. I'll probably move to a much cheaper area once I'm financially independent. And a lot of people tell me they don't want to live with roommates, but I'm not really sure why. I have a private bedroom and bathroom here, which is a lot more than I had in college. To me, that's totally worth it to save almost $2,000 per month on rent. Once I get home, I usually eat my second meal of the day. There are a lot of restaurants in this area, but I almost never eat out. Eating out is so expensive, and it also takes a lot of time. I only do it on social occasions. Otherwise, I cook for myself. And today, I need to go grocery shopping, which I do about twice per week. Spending less money on food really is one of the easiest ways to save more money, which is why I wanted to take you with me. The good news is I live within walking distance of a grocery store, which is really convenient. The bad news is that it's a Trader Joe's, which is pretty expensive. Still, it's not too hard to save money. I mean, eggs are one of my favorite things to eat, and they're super cheap. I also eat a ton of rice, which also helps me save a lot of money. And bananas are my go-to snack, and they cost less than a quarter each. I don't eat very much meat because it can be really expensive. No matter what, it's definitely worth it to compare prices on all of the different food options. If you're careful, it's easy to save thousands of dollars per year on food. The biggest downside of living with roommates is sharing a refrigerator, which can get a little tight. I always find space though. Now it's just about time to go to the gym. I actually picked my apartment super carefully so that I was within walking or biking distance to my office, a grocery store, and a gym. Fitness is really important to me, and I still like to compete. I was a track and field athlete in college, but now I'm a competitive kickboxer. That's why my gym membership is actually one of the most expensive things I pay for. It's really important to me though, and I try to get my money's worth out of it. I spend a lot of time here, and I think it would be fun to be a coach one day, once I'm financially free. I usually leave the gym around 8 p.m. and walk back home. Finally, I get to do my favorite work of the day. Whenever I'm not at work or at the gym, I'm writing. Each of these YouTube videos takes about 10 hours of total work, and this one actually took a lot more than that. I also write the Fire Friday newsletter, which I always have linked in the video description, which takes another hour or 2 of work. That might not sound like a lot, but it's hard with a full-time job. And over the past few months, I've also been working on a much bigger project. I've been writing a book and a mini course, which I think will really help people begin their journey to financial freedom and save their first $100,000. There's a link to join the waiting list in the video description. I write until I can't focus anymore, and then it's time to sleep. Good night. That was a day of extreme frugality. But look, I feel like I've been lying to you. It's the weekend now, which is when I have time to shoot these videos. And there's something else that I wanted to talk about. I called this video a day in the life of extreme frugality. And people do call me extremely frugal. I live with roommates, I don't own a car, I almost never eat out, and I don't even pay for streaming services because I'm too busy creating these YouTube videos for you. But even so, I don't think my life is that extremely frugal. I live in a beautiful neighborhood, and my townhouse has Wi-Fi, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electricity. Plus, I have my own bedroom and bathroom. I only have to share a kitchen and laundry machines, which isn't ever an issue. I still have a nice office, eat well, and exercise. I'm not depriving myself of anything. This isn't extreme frugality. It's just that what most people consider normal is actually extremely wasteful and luxurious. And the reason I'm living so extremely frugally is so I can reach financial freedom before I turn 30 years old. Sure, I could go live in a nice apartment and drive a fancy car and eat out all the time. I could afford to. But if there's anything I do feel deprived of, it's my time. I hate the feeling that I don't have my freedom. So I don't think my life is extreme. I think everybody else's life is extreme. Spending 40 plus hours of your week for your entire life just to afford your lifestyle is extreme. Living paycheck to paycheck is extreme. So I'm not saying that you should live like me or anything like that. Everyone has to find their own balance. But personally, I would rather have less things and more time. But a lot of people think that no matter how frugal they don't earn enough money to reach financial freedom. But I think that that's complete BS. And to prove it, I made an entire video about how you could retire early, even with a low income. And in that video, I even walk you through the step-by-step system I use with my own coaching clients to help them reach financial freedom. So I'll leave a link to that video right here.